민주주의가 가장 발달한 나라라고 자부하는 미국. 그 핵심에는 민주주의의 꽃 선거가 있다. 하지만 투표 집계가 정확한지 여부를 확인할 수 없다면 그 선거로 유지되는 제도를 민주주의라고 부를 수 있을까? (2000년) 미 대선의 최대 격전지는 플로리다였고 최대 쟁점은 재검표 여부와 그 방법이었다. 하지만 표를 집계하는 컴퓨터에 의문을 제기한 사람은 아무도 없었다. 투표가 끝나고 몇 시간이 지난 후 플로리다주의 한 선거 관리원은 미국의 민주주의가 위기에 처한 징후를 처음으로 목격했다. 볼루시아 카운티의 컴퓨터가 고의 표를 거꾸로 세고 있었던 것이다. 그의 득표수 앞엔 마이너스 기호가 붙어 있었다.
I put 3 words into a news search engine, voting machines and glitch, and found dozens and dozens of elections that were miscounted by the machines. And about that time I thought we really have a problem.
유권자들의 표 하나하나를 성실하게 합산해야 할 컴퓨터 프로그램은 어째서 더하기 대신 빼기를 했을까? 단순한 착오였는지 선거 조작 음모였는지 알 길은 없다.
You know, I began looking into these voting machines, and one reason I was so curious is because it's a secret how they work. The companies that make them keep it a secret. None of the computer scientists felt they could even look at the code because the code was supposed to be a secret. The certification labs that examine it keep their process a secret of what they do, and even the election officials who buy the equipment are prohibited by their contract from ever looking and seeing how it works.
당시까지 미국 유권자들의 표가 집계되는 방식을 아는 건 투표기 회사 관계자들 뿐이었다. 하지만 배부가 내려받은 자료 덕분에 전자투표의 비밀은 풀리기 시작한다.
The problem that Bev has discovered is a pretty significant security hole, and it does open the way for people to really seriously manipulate the election in a way that's very difficult to detect.
And there's a check mark in the other column. Something wasn't tested. And what was not tested is the security of the system. This is the test that tells us whether these things can be tampered with. And here I have penetration analysis not reviewed by software RTA.
디볼드를 비롯한 선거 관련 업체들은 자신들의 시스템이 안전하다고 주장했다. 현실에서는 배부의 잼스 해킹이 불가능하며 전체 투표자 수가 다르기 때문에 조작은 발각될 수밖에 없다는 것이었다. 2004년 미 대선을 겨우 2달 앞둔 때였다. 부시와 캐리는 치열한 접전을 벌이고 있었다.
Feel great, thank you. Let me go vote first.
It's that magic moment when the greatest democracy on the face of the planet gets to show the world how we work.
It would be nothing better for our system, for the election to be conclusively over tonight, so that I think it's going to be me, so I can go on and lead this country.
정치인들의 말은 근사했지만 현실은 좀 달랐다. 전자투표기 고장이 잇따랐고 유권자 수천 명은 투표를 할 수 없었다.
And now, nobody knows.
I would not give up this fight if there was a chance that we would prevail. But it is now clear that even when all the provisional ballots are counted, which they will be, there won't be enough outstanding votes for us to be able to win Ohio. And therefore, we cannot win this election.
What he's saying is that it's the optical scan machines are being rigged to produce a result for Bush, contrary to what the votes the voters are casting. So this is not our conspiracy theory. This is not something we have to prove to Kerry. Kerry is sharing this as a matter of fact. Because Kerry conceded. The incredible resources that he had organized for potential post-election litigation was not in the picture.
개표 집계 소프트웨어의 조작 가능성을 알았고 출구 조사에서 당선자로 예측까지 됐지만 캐리는 패배를 인정했다. 하지만 배부와 동료들은 본격적으로 표의 행방을 추적하기 시작한다.
Another 4 a.m.
배부가 조사를 시작한 곳은 2000년 대선에서 마이너스 득표수가 나왔던 플로리다주 볼루시아 카운티였다. 배부는 먼저 각 전자투표기의 기록지부터 점검했다.
Our election, I thought, went extremely well, and I'm very tickled about it because it was my final election to perform. I'll be retiring on December 31st. So you can imagine how I was praying to come out with a smooth election at the end.
I have one question. These are not copies of the signed ones. These are new ones.
Give out the signatures, first of all.
Now, one of the things we had asked for was the voting machine results tapes, copy of them, signed by the poll worker for Election Day, which was November 2nd. But the date was November 15th, and they were printed out minty fresh just for us, obviously. So what I was given was not at all what I asked for.
Let me check with them.
Great.
Atlanta, the original tapes off of the machines, are they still out in the warehouse, or did you bring those in at the warehouse? They're out in the warehouse.
We went to the Volusia County warehouse because we had learned that that's where the real poll tapes or results tapes from the voting machines were going to be. And we wanted to go there by surprise because we wanted to see what they were doing with them.
전자투표기와 컴퓨터가 표를 어떻게 처리했는지 알기 위해서는 광학 스캔 개표기의 기록지 전체가 필요했다. 기록지의 득표수를 모두 더한 숫자와 공식 기록의 투표자 수가 일치하지 않으면 오작동이나 조작이 있었다는 얘기다.
Call Lana, call the sheriff's department.
Go ahead. Let's go ahead and get the news over here.
I think you should call them.
Ballots, secrecy envelopes, poll tapes. We have a public records request for these. I don't feel too good about the fact that they're being thrown away. Show me a ballot. We're just going to have a look at why you post.
Oh, you flip it out over a sample ballot.
You'll call the sheriff. Call Lana.
And in fact, I'll submit a public records request for everything in this bag right now formally, and that way we can look through it and we can get back to you, and we'll be on our way.
You are going to pick up this garbage.
Sure we are. Absolutely.
Do you need any bags?
Well, I'm going to grab these poll tapes, which I have an active public records request for, and I've had all kinds of problems getting them from the
You
county.
didn't get that poll tape from in that bag.
I sure did. And videotaped it.
What is it?
Nope.
No, I'm not going to. I'll be right back.
Nope.
Probably
It's
just,
not the only one. I got others.
basically, you're making a molehill a mountain.
You know, when you behave secretively, that's what happens.
It's no secretive. Do I come to your place of work and ask to see everything?
You're a public employee, and this is of an election.
There's nothing secretive. You can dig away.
Good, we will.
There's nothing in there for you to find that's gonna, there's no expose here. But if it makes you money, that's fine.
Nobody's making money. We're auditing. And these aren't zero tapes, by the way. They have votes on them. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and pull all these and get copies of them.
These were found at the warehouse in the garbage, and these are signed poll tapes, signed off by the poll workers.
투표 기록지를 버리는 건 연방 법률 위반이다. 선거 후 최소한 22개월은 보관돼야 하기 때문이다.
Hard to figure they would throw something like this away without noticing, but we did. That's what counts. Oh, counts.
볼루시아 카운티는 조사를 원치 않았고 투표는 아무 문제 없이 끝났다는 주장만 되풀이했다.
But we have a significant anomaly too, I think.
I don't know what anomaly you're talking about, so I'm not agreeing that there's any anomaly.
Well, the polling place tape that's signed that was found in the garbage. I would think that as the supervisor of elections, you would be very concerned about this, frankly. I mean, you can't throw away polling place tapes from November 2nd that are signed by 6 poll workers and put them in the shredder. I think we all understand that.
배부는 선거관리국에서 준 기록지와 선거관리원들이 서명한 원본 기록지를 비교했다.
We had asked for the signed poll tapes and they didn't give them to us, so we're looking at them now and they don't match the ones you guys gave us. So,
okay, this is a big discrepancy.
Okay.
On the 215A00,
Signed.
The number of votes for Bush are 520. On the A01, it's 211.
And that's a big, big discrepancy. You're hundreds of votes off between what we were given and what was signed. Okay, that's fine. We're going to put it back.
It's fine. So we're missing this baby, 733.
Yeah, that one. This is fine. Okay. So this is 90. One. Okay. So what is your one that you're working on right now?
723A01.
Well, some emails is very important.
플로리다 각 카운티의 선거 관리국들을 돌며 조사를 해온 운동가 둘도 합세했다.
That's amazing.
Hi, I'm Susan Pinchon, and I'm the executive director of the Florida Fair Elections Coalition, and I am going through the trash at the Supervisor of Elections office in DeLand, Florida.
Oh my God, look at this. How did I get this?
All right, let me take
You
this
don't
stuff
understand
over.
now. You'll look at it later and you'll understand it.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Bravo.
These are polling tapes, and actually one of these tapes are the ones that we were missing from this morning.
This is great. You found the missing tapes in the garbage. And you should see me now.
I'm in Volusia County, Florida, home of the negative vote totals.
그래도 원본 기록지의 3분의 1은 찾을 수가 없었고 신뢰도 확인은 또 불가능해졌다. 볼루시아 카운티가 은행이고 투표 기록지가 거래 기록이라면 미 연방 정부는 즉각 조사에 착수했을 것이다. 하지만 연방 정부는 기초적인 조사도 하지 않았고 미 대선의 진짜 결과는 다시 한번 베일에 가려졌다.
Our democracy could go out of business. We won't have a republic left. It won't be recognizable if we don't get rid of the secrecy. It was not set up to be a secret system. It became a secret system. And if we don't open this thing up again and quickly, we will never again see what's going on. We've given it up. We've lost it. We're going to have to go back in there and take this back by whatever means necessary.
투표 집계 과정에서 부정이 저질러졌고 유권자들이 제대로 권리를 행사하지 못했다고 생각한 오하이오 주민들은 재투표를 요구했다. 녹색당 후보로 미 대선에 출마했던 데이비드 콥도 문제를 제기하고 나섰다.
I launched a recount in order to investigate the allegations of voter suppression and fraud that were pouring in.
블랙박스 보팅에겐 개표 진행 방식을 살펴볼 수 있는 좋은 기회였다. 캐서린 위는 고향인 카야호가 카운티의 클리블랜드로 돌아갔다.
Being that this was December, January, when the recount was going on. The snow and blizzards and traffic, we would laugh and say, well, you know, this is what we have to do to get our democracy back. We'll do it, although we would rather be home in front of the fireplace.
클리블랜드는 오하이오주 카야호가 카운티에서 가장 큰 선거구로 유권자는 140만 명 정도다. 게다가 유권자들의 성향도 선거 때마다 달라져 변덕스런 지역으로 꼽힌다.
What are you getting up so early for today, and what are you going to go do today?
We're going to count the votes and make sure they're counted right.
The reason that I bought a camera is irrefutable proof. I didn't ever want to be misunderstood or misquoted, so that way there would be no question.
Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? Let me just introduce a couple of individuals. One of those individuals is Jackie Maiden, who is our elections coordinator. The ballot manager, who is Kathy Dreamer here also, who will be facilitating the portion
카야호가 카운티는 펀치카드 방식 투표용지와 컴퓨터 집계를 이용하고 있다. 정확한 개표를 하려면 모든 투표용지를 일일이 손으로 확인해야 하지만 실제 수작업 개표는 무작위로 추출한 3%의 표에만 적용된다. 전체를 수작업으로 확인하려면 컴퓨터 집계 결과와 샘플의 집계 결과가 달라야 한다.
Tell me how you feel about this today.
Well, it's exciting. Like you said, it's part of history. You know, it just we do recounts all the time. It's not that big of an issue for us. It's just for the public to see it.
재검표는 보여주기 위한 행사가 아니다. 유권자들은 자신들의 표가 정확히 집계됐는지 확인할 권리가 있다. 재검표가 시작되자마자 참관단은 투표용지에서 이상한 점을 발견했다.
It seems like all the Bush and the Kerry seem to be like clumped together. So there might have been some pre-sorting.
Somehow those cards were manipulated so that they were grouped. And I don't know anything about how that happened. Nobody's been able to answer that question for me.
We've got about 2 more hours worth of work on hand-counted ballots.
And that's it?
And then we'll continue to run through the tabulation machine. And they're starting to inspect poll books, and everything's going very well.
Great, thank you.
And I did manage to capture all the election officials saying everything's running smoothly, everything's going perfectly. So whenever they say that, you know, they've done something to make certain of that.
이후 담당 검사는 재검표에 앞서 몰래 표를 세어둔 혐의로 카야호가의 선거관리 공무원들을 기소했다. 공무원들은 이 표를 숨긴 채 합산하지 않았고 무작위로 선택된 게 아닌 3%의 샘플을 제시했다.
What's the process by which the 3% of precincts for the hand count?
Just 3% is a random pick to make the.
How do you do the random pick?
To make the number.
Yeah.
We just pick. We're just trying to get to the number.
Okay.
And who's the person that makes that decision?
It's Striker and her staff. And her staff.
So it's not really truly random then? No.
Our random is our random.
Right. And that we have that option to select.
Yeah. And that's just, I mean, we've always selected. This department has always selected what precincts we're going to use.
이후 제키 메이드는 투표 용지를 미리 나누는 건 정상적인 절차였다고 주장했다. 자신이 알기로는 집계에서 빠진 투표소가 하나도 없었고 모든 표가 집계됐다는 주장도 덧붙였다. 하지만 나머지 97%의 수작업 재검표는 이루어지지 않았고 집계의 정확성 여부도 확인되지 못했다.
The recount is nothing but a charade. It's a complete and utter waste of time. It's a bit of theater, if you will. And it was done, in my opinion, to ensure that there was never an actual recount conducted, but more importantly, to ensure that there was never an investigation into the underlying allegations of voter suppression and election fraud that took place.
Mr. President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the well-known and great state of Ohio seems to be regular, informed, and authentic. It appears therefrom that George W. Bush of the state of Texas received 20 votes for President. Dick Cheney of the state of Wyoming received 20 votes for Vice President.
For what purpose does the member from Ohio rise?
I said I object to the Ohio vote.
And before they could ask me, I said, and I do have a senator.
미 하원 의원들이 대통령 선거 결과에 이의를 제기한 건 100여 년 만의 일이었다. 이 제기 이유는 오하이오의 공민권 침해였다.
Has the senator signed the objection?
The senator has signed the objection.
An objection presented in writing and signed by both a representative and a senator complies with the law.
I raise this objection because I am convinced that we as a body must conduct a formal and legitimate debate about election irregularities. I raise this objection to debate the process and protect the integrity of the true will of the people. When I made a decision in conjunction with Senator Barbara Boxer to object to the Ohio vote, you would have thought that I shot somebody in the head and that I wanted something, something terrible.
The problem we confront with this debate is that it serves to plant the insidious seeds of doubt in the electoral process.
They accuse the president, who we are told is apparently a closet computer nerd, of personally overseeing the development of vote-stealing software.
We also were all elected under the same rules and regulations that we're discussing today. I don't know that we helped the process. I don't know that we helped the process by casting doubt on what all of those people that work at elections all over America do.
Those favoring yeas and nays will rise. Sufficient number has arisen. The yeas and nays are ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic vote.
비록 오하이오 선거인단의 투표는 승인됐지만 미국 하원 의원들은 선거 시스템이 국민에게 불편을 주고 있음을 다시금 인식했다. 비슷한 시기 베베의 동지 앤디 스티븐스는 암 선고를 받았고 7월 세상을 떠났다.
Maybe this is the legacy I'll leave. Maybe I'll leave this behind for people to remember me so that when I do go, when my time comes to meet my maker, I'll have something, a little piece that I left behind that people can point and say, well, yeah, he was here.
플로리다주 탈라시의 선거 감독관인 나이온 산초는 투표 집계 컴퓨터에 나온 결과가 진짜 유권자들의 뜻이란 확신을 갖고 싶었다.
The vendors have entirely too much power in the elections arena today. Election officials are really overly dependent upon the vendors. Vendors control what kind of technology may be offered in a state. We're essentially hostage to the financial desires of private interests to conduct the most public of our procedures, public elections.
그는 디볼드 광학 스캔 기계와 투표 집계 소프트웨어를 점검하기 위해 배부와 핀란드의 컴퓨터 보안 전문가를 초청했다.
This is a first. We're going to be looking at the machines, the real machines. That's a real system that's actually been used in real elections. So this is exciting.
Welcome to Tallahassee.
Hi, thanks. Harry Hurst, nice to meet you.
I am Sancho, Harry. This is where we count the votes on election night. It's Thomas James. Thomas?
How you doing? Pretty fine, you?
One of the things that the vendor told us was that people would not be able to access this, that every time you entered into the system would record that.
컴퓨터 보안 전문가인 휴 톰슨과 하리 허스티는 득표수 조작이 가능하다고 생각한다. 휴 톰슨은 선거 관리 시스템 제임스 해킹을 시도했다. 부근 고등학교의 선거 결과였다. 휴 톰슨은 322표로 2위에 그친 나디아 스미스를 당선시켜 보기로 했다.
So I go into this election file, and if I do, I'm asked for a password, and I have no idea what the password is.
톰슨은 자동으로 나디아의 총 득표수를 찾는 프로그램을 만들고 득표수를 5,000표로 수정했다. 선거 결과 페이지는 나디아를 당선자로 지명했고 조작 흔적은 전혀 보이지 않았다.
It does give me great concern over the failure of the system to realize that you can slide by and come around through another direction and bypass the password.
하지만 이런 방법은 적발되기 쉽다. 제임스의 총 투표자 수와 실제 투표자 수가 다르기 때문이다. 하리 허스틴은 각각의 표가 메모리 카드에 저장된다는 점에 착안했다. 메모리 카드를 조작하면 선거 결과를 조작할 수 있는 것이다.
The real vulnerability has to be very close to the source of the information, and in that environment, the only possibility was the memory card.
허스틴은 디볼드의 투표함에 뭐가 있는지를 알아보기 위해 인터넷으로 메모리 카드 판독기를 샀다. 그리고 이틀 후 메모리 카드엔 유권자들의 표뿐만 아니라 실행 가능 프로그램도 들어있다는 걸 알아낸다.
Well, if someone would have told me that in this system there is a living thing, an executable, modifiable program stored in the same place as the very data which is the most secure in this system, I would say you have to be misunderstanding something, crazy or lying.
허스틴은 블랙박스 보팅의 웹사이트에 보고서를 공개했다. 메모리 카드의 실행 가능 프로그램이 선거 결과를 바꿀 수 있다는 내용이다.
What happened after that was that Diebold basically dismissed and stonewalled the report.
디볼드는 미 전역의 선거관리국에 편지를 보내 메모리 카드엔 실행 가능 프로그램이 없다고 주장했다. 수작업 재검표가 있었던 오하이오주 카야호가 카운티의 선거관리 책임자 바 베넷은 $2,000만 들여 디볼드 선거관리 시스템을 도입하려 하고 있었다.
It's a standalone system. Votes are encrypted, so if anyone tries to tamper with those election results, it immediately shuts down the system. So you've got built-in protection within the system.
I'm sorry, you've been very kind.
No, all right.
So far, you're doing fairly well.
Thank you, sir.
바 베넷은 디볼드가 그에게 정치 헌금을 낸 공화당의 오하이오주 위원장이기도 했다. 디볼드 선거관리 시스템 도입을 위한 공청회엔 배부의 동진 캐서린 윙과 빅토리아 러브 그런도 참석했다.
Basically, I would like to know why. What were your decision rationale? For even your own criterion, Diebold does not win.
Well,
it's a bad decision, and it's gonna come back to bite you because you're already in trouble. People do not trust Cuyahoga County. They do not trust the recount here. You're in trouble.
right now, we are still in the process of completing the negotiations on the Diebold contract. We have made that selection. It's not likely that we're going to go back unless there's something drastic that happens in that and change our decision on that.
그래서 배부는 중대한 문제를 지적하기로 했다. 석 달 후 디볼드와의 계약을 마무리 짓기 위한 공청회가 열렸다.
Knowing that Diebold was going to be showing up at a public meeting, the next strategy was to go there and get their head engineer on videotape saying you can't change the votes on the memory card.
So my question for Diebold would be, again, either do you not know what was done in these security tests, or did you just tell something that's not true?
I think that deserves a response from Diebold in Ms. Harris's question.
The question was changing votes, and did they know or not?
It is my understanding that because there is no executable program on the memory card, that the actual votes on the memory card cannot be altered.
Could you remind us, are you an engineer yourself?
No, I am not an engineer, but I can work with our engineering crew. In fact, Pat, want to step up here for 1 second?
Hi, I'm Pat Green. I'm Director of Research and Development for Diebold.
Ms. Harris, could you phrase your question again? Can votes be changed using only a memory card?
No, I do not believe votes could be changed using only a memory card. That particular situation is detected by the software. The report that was written, that I have read, guesses that something like that might be possible, but says that they did not actually accomplish that or even test that.
These are very strong statements. These are statements that we took to be a challenge. These are statements that we wanted to find out if they were true or not.
배부는 메모리 카드 조작 실험을 보기 위해 탈라하시로 갔다. 아이온 산초에겐 실험을 해봐야 할 이유가 또 있었다. 신뢰받는 선거관리 공무원이었던 산초는 2000년 미 대선 당시 플로리다의 재검표 감독관으로 임명됐다. 그는 폴루시아 카운티에서 발생한 마이너스 득표수의 원인도 재검표가 밝혀줄 것으로 생각했다. 하지만 미 연방 대법원의 결정으로 재검표는 중단됐고 의문은 그대로 남았다.
One of the reasons that interests me about the Volusia County situation and what happened there is that we in Leon County used the identical voting system, the Diebold AccuVote 2000. And in the 17 years that I've been an election administrator, my experience is that that kind of subtraction cannot occur accidentally. Someone consciously tried to affect that computer system and consciously tried to perpetuate a fraud, to steal votes.
하리 허스티는 디볼드의 메모리 카드가 마이너스 득표수를 허용한다는 걸 알아냈다.
Then go dead. What we're going to do here is modify one card and then bring it to the election supervisor Iron Sanchez's office. Plug it as the real card in any election to the real election system and run ballots through. And that's the same system which have been used in a number of previous elections. And we'll see that what is the power in the ballot box. This should be just an empty box containing the votes, but it has more capabilities than that. So it's a very simple process. You just add the card in, you run the rewrite program, tell where to find the scanner, and tell exactly what file you want to be put in, and off it goes.
허스티의 해킹은 투표함에 미리 표를 넣어두는 방식과 비슷하지만 투표자 수보다 득표수가 많아지는 결함을 고친 것이다. 그는 한 후보의 표는 5개 줄이고 다른 후보의 표는 5개 늘도록 만드는 프로그램을 짰다. 이렇게 하면 총 득표수와 투표자 수는 늘 일치하게 된다. 허스티의 프로그램은 성공할까? 블랙박스 보팅 회원들도 탈라하시에 모여들었다. 배부는 폴루시아 카운티의 수전 핀천도 불렀다. 핀천은 폴루시아 카운티 선거관리국의 쓰레기통에서 메모리 카드의 문제점을 보여주는 기록지를 찾았다.
This is from Mark Early of Diebold, and it says, how did the number of memory card failures on election day increase from the 17 reported on November 3rd to 25? I don't know if we'll ever know why these memory cards failed, or if, see, one of the big questions in my mind is, did they actually fail? Or could they have been used for other purposes?
Hi, how are you doing, Susan? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
뉴올리언스의 수전 버네커와 컴퓨터 보안 전문가 휴 톰슨도 왔다.
Great to see you, Dr. Thompson. Good to see you.
Always good to see you.
Always good to see you, Kathleen. Come on in. Well, let me tell you what we're going to do today. We have constructed a mini election, but Harry Hersey, as you have served as a technical advisor of how to do this, we're going to ask you to remain outside. After you, let me introduce you to my election staff. to ensure that we have not prepared some sort of a device that has been pre-rigged. Pick the number, and then we'll grab that unit, and that will be the device that we will count the ballots on.
I just feel like this is the one. The winner is...
Okay, and the winner is unit 15191. 15191. What we have here is a programmed optical scan ballot. There is only one question on this ballot. Can the votes on the Diebold system be hacked using the memory card?
I have only touched the memory card, not the other parts of the Diebold election system, which is going to be used today. Only the memory card.
And I can certainly speak for myself and Harry, and that we're going to vote yes.
All right, then let's have the rest of us vote no. Two individuals, Hugh and Harry, will be voting yes. The rest of us will be voting no. And then we'll scrutinize the ballots afterwards to ensure that that is indeed the mark.
I will say that I'm wrong and Diebold is right, and I'm going to say no, they cannot be hacked.
It's impossible. So I vote no.
I'm going to film myself voting. Excuse me.
I'm going to mark this ballot no. Dr. Thompson?
I am going to mark this ballot yes. I've seen some pretty concerning things.
Well, it's down to you. You're the last voter, Harry.
All right. I think it could be. So I vote for yes.
You will be the second yes.
All right. Here is the memory card I have touched.
Okay. Now, this is the only piece of Diebold equipment that you've used.
That's correct.
Well, thank you. Let me take your ballot in. This card will go into this slot. The next activity that the election worker does on the morning of the election is turn the machine on, making it live to receive votes. When you do that, this machine will produce what is called a zero total tape. The machine is going through a self-test analysis, and then it'll spontaneously turn on. This is Harry's card that is telling us that there are 0 votes stored in the memory. Okay, let me get the ballots. Let's insert a yes ballot. We're going to put in another no. 7. And the last no ballot, 8. Placing the ender card in this device and telling it to turn off its counting function and do its reporting function will now cause the voting machine to print out a tape reading the number of votes that it had just read. Oh my.
Oh no! What is it? What is it? 7 yes, 1 no. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Let me see.
Here's the tape.
7 people said it could be hacked.
And we put through 6 and 2.
6
no's
no's
and
2
2
yeses.
yeses. Oh my gosh, do you know what this means?
How do we know that Harry didn't just change the report and the votes themselves on the memory card are still correct? If that was the case, when they go into GEMS, the results would be different, isn't that right?
I mean, the only way to know that is to read them into GEMS and to check the vote totals.
See what GEMS says. So should we do that?
I think we should, because I want to confirm for my own analysis, is this just a superficial
Correct.
Right, that's a good
hack?
question.
In other words, did we just change the words on this paper? And we will upload this memory card
If I had not seen what was behind this, I'd have no reason not to. I would have certified this election as a true and accurate result of a vote.
Susan, what does this mean for you?
It makes me cry. I'm sorry, but it does.
Why? Why?
There's so many reasons. The reasons because there are people out there who are giving their lives to try to make our elections secure, and they're being called conspiracy theorists and technophobes, and these vendors are lying and saying that everything's all right, and it's not all right. And I'm crying because I'll quote somebody that I know who said that it's as though our country is one country pretending to be another country. How can this be happening to our elections? This really does affect me.
I don't know exactly how to describe what I saw here. I think we, as election officials, need to be a little bit more demanding from the vendors as to the technical specifications of this equipment. The vendors are driving the process of voting technology in the United States. I would much rather, at this point, I think, focus on allowing citizens to select technology that satisfies their needs.
디볼드는 업무 태만으로 아이온 산초를 고소했다. 디볼드 시스템은 공인기관만 검사할 수 있으며 탈라하시 실험은 차에 열쇠를 두고 창문을 내린 채 자리를 비운 것과 같은 조건에서 이루어졌다는 게 그들의 주장이다. 하지만 이후 버클리 대학 연구팀은 허스트의 보고서를 확인했고 터치스크린 투표기의 보안 결함 16가지도 추가로 찾아냈다. 세코이아 등 다른 전자투표기 제조사들도 제품의 안전성을 주장한다. 디볼드는 소프트웨어 업데이트를 발표했다. 전자투표기 제조사들의 한결같은 주장은 전자투표가 전통적 투표보다 안전하다는 것이다. 하지만 흔적도 남기지 않은 해킹의 이유를 설명하는 업체는 없었다. 카야호가 카운티 역시 결정을 번복하지 않았다. 디볼드의 선거 시스템 도입에 들어간 주민들의 돈은 $2,200만 달러였다.